Marks 2 weeks until Election Day with candidates in their final days of their campaigns. Iowa law does require people running for the state legislature to live in the district they would represent. But we found at least 2 candidates changed their address to run in a specific district this November, but one of them claims to live in a home that hasn't used water since February.
Our KCRG TV9 I-9 investigative team, in a collaboration with KCCI Investigates, found Iowa's residency law is virtually unenforceable. I-9 investigative reporter Ethan Stein joining us now live to explain it all.
Jim, Beth, it all boils down to your voter registration. That address determines where you vote and where you're eligible to run for office. But Iowa law requires auditors assume your address is correct, meaning no one is checking to make sure candidates actually live in the district. House candidate Derek Wolf has talked about living on his family farm in Hudson for years. He's eligible for a tax credit this year and next year, according to county records, for working and living on the farm. But according to his voter registration, Wolf lives at this Waterloo mailing address. The move happened 6 months ago. It means instead of running in District 54, where his farm sits, and a fellow Republican is running unopposed, Wolf is able to run for the open seat in a different district. Nobody answered at the farm home in Hudson, but Wolf's neighbors across the street told us the family definitely lives there.
Do you know if there's a Derek Wolf that lives across the street?
Wolves do live across the street, yep.
They do?
Yep.
100%.
100%.
We drove to Wolf's new address, but he wasn't there. The owner who donated to Wolf's campaign told us Wolf is renting a room. Are you renting out the room to him?
Yeah.
Wolf declined an interview with TV9. In a statement, he insisted he is a resident in his new district, sending us an electric bill and a driver's license to prove it. But he didn't explain why he lives in a room in Black Hawk County instead of the farmhouse he owns with his wife. Wolf was not the only politician to change his address before the upcoming election. According to voter registration records, Senate Majority Leader Jack Whitford moved to this apartment about 2 months ago. With redistricting, the move puts him in a more conservative district and avoided a potential primary challenge from a fellow Republican incumbent. We obtained water records for Whitford's new apartment. It shows not one drop of water has been used there since February. Whitford declined to answer questions, instead sending us a statement insisting he resides at the Grimes apartment. This residency problem isn't new. Almost 9 years ago, Marion had a dispute over its then mayor, Snooks Buska, lived. His driver's license listed a Marion apartment, but he also owned a home about 12 minutes away in Hiawatha.
The only time I'm in Hiawatha is when I have to go home and feed the dog now.
Marion City Council eventually ruled Buska met its residency requirement. To register to vote, Woodbury County Auditor Pat Gill says people just need to sign an oath that they are telling the truth. No supporting documentation needed.
Just a form and a pen.
Why not check?
Why not check? Because I think it would just be an impossibility to check every one of those voter registrations as they come in.
After a registration is accepted, one of the only checks is another voter challenging somebody's registration. Those create a court-like procedure where auditors determine where somebody is more likely to actually live. Again, it's important to note both Wolf and Whitver have met the letter of the law. When we reached out to Mr. Wolf for comment, Jeff Kaufman, the chair of the Republican Party of Iowa, also responded with the statement. All GOP candidates on the ballot are legal residents of the districts they are running in. Voters looking for unbiased, balanced investigative reporting should change the channel. KCRG has turned into a press shop for Democrats. Some may also note that Marinette Miller-Meek still lives in Ottumwa, but is running for the 1st Congressional District, which no longer includes Ottumwa. But the Constitution only requires members of Congress live in the state they represent, not necessarily the district. In studio, Ethan Stein, KCRG TV9 News.
Checking Senate Majority Leader Jack Whitford for not living in his district. It is a requirement for state lawmakers under Iowa law.
Now, to prove he does live within his district, Senator Whitford released bills from his condo in Grimes showing he is using water. KCRG TV9 investigative reporter Ethan Stein is joining us in the studio.
And so why is the senator now sharing his own condo water bills with you?
Well, think about
water. It's something we use every day, whether you're flushing the toilet or brushing your teeth or just having a cup of it. Our KCRG TV9 I-9 investigative team and KCCI Investigates reported that Senator Whitver moved from a home in Ankeny to a condo in Grimes 2 months ago, but utility records we received showed the condo didn't use any water since around February. We got those records after asking the private company for them. Whitver did not respond to our invitation for an interview for our story. After that story aired, though, he did release his latest utility bill to prove that he does live there, showing the condo did use water. In 1 month, the total charge for water usage was about $10. According to his voter registration form, Whitver moved into the apartment August 8th. 2 days later, the meter was read. It shows there was no usage and a $0 charge. The same result happened in September, and now this newly released bill for October, which a spokesperson handed out, shows he did use water. It resulted in a charge of $9.45. Our partners in Des Moines, KCCI, knocked on Senator Whitver's door in Grimes. No one answered. They also knocked on his door in Ankeny, but again, no answer. There were packages addressed to the senator outside that door. County records show that property in Ankeny is eligible for a homestead tax credit. That's for people who own and occupy the property. Records show Whitver owns both properties. State law requires county auditors assume voter registrations are correct, and they don't have the resources to then go out and check them. Why not check?
Why not check? Because I think it would just be an impossibility to check every one of those voter registrations as they come in.
The Secretary of State's office says county auditors can't verify if candidates for office are really living where they say they are, because then it would target those running for office rather than apply the law equally to everyone. A voter did file a challenge to Senator Whitver's voter registration earlier this year. Panel dismissed the challenge, meaning he could run, but somebody could still challenge the registration with evidence we found, like the water bill. Whitver's complaint is compliant with state law, again, because county auditors have to assume he's telling the truth. He's not the only candidate doing something like this. Candidates are known to move after redistricting. For example, we found a Democrat in Burlington who is running from a different address than he was in 2020, but he does own that property. We're still waiting for records to see when that change happened.
All right. Ethan, thanks so much. They can catch the full story right now online.
Yes, right now under the investigations tabs on KCRG.com.
Thank you.